That was Piece of My Wish by Dave Koz. His new album, the 25th of December, is in stores now. Make sure to get it. You're tuned in to KKSM 1320, your radio revolution. I'm, of course, Nylander. I'm so honored right now, though. I'm joined live in the studio by local San Diego recording artist Rebecca Jade. Rebecca, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, Chorus. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for coming in today. You just recently released your new album, Rebecca Jade and the Cold Fact. Mm-hmm. Tell us about that project.
It's actually I'm joining in with a collaboration of musicians that have been working together for quite a while. Headed up by Alfred Howard, who is part of the Heavy Guilt. He did the Alfred Howard and the K-23 Orchestra a few years back. He's got his hands in a few different local bands here that have done really, really well. The Black Sands, Midnight Pine. So he approached me actually and was like, hey, I would like to do like a soul project, a soul album. So I said, I would love to do that with you, So he's brought in some musicians that have worked with him in those other bands, and we just kind of put together, came up with this project, and it's just been a blast. So we've been playing, doing pretty well for a band that just got started, I mean, the band didn't get started, but you know what I mean? Like, the project is really new. So
yeah.
We've been, since we released in April 1st actually was the release date of our album, and we've been nominated for a San Diego Music Award, and we just got through playing the Adams Avenue Street Fair, and we're playing the Joshua Tree Music Festival next weekend. So it's been really cool that we've been doing pretty well.
A lot of things going on for you.
Yeah,
it sounds like you have a great crew on board for that album.
Definitely.
And how long did it take to record?
I would say, for overall, probably about I want to say 6 months or so, because initially we had we did the recording. We spent the time, which was really good in the beginning, to because we don't have funding, so we don't have the flexibility of just spending all the time in the world in the studio. So we spent a lot of the time rehearsing. So we spent a number of weeks just rehearsing, just getting all the songs done. We have 12 songs.
Oh, wow.
And so we spent a number of weeks just rehearsing.
Just so you could go in there and whip it out real quick.
So,
save on the money of the time of recording.
Exactly. So we spent that then, and then the band came in, I want to say we did in 2 days, two 8-hour sessions or whatever. The band came in and recorded the 12 songs. They did probably like 6 and 6 or whatever. And then I did, the scratch vocals. And then I'm particularly, the band, they've been gelling, for a long time, but I wanted to spend more time. So luckily, Tim Felton, who is the keyboard player for the band, he's got a studio. So the band recorded the instrumentation, the instruments, in the studio. I forget the name of the studio, but and then we went back in and recorded all the vocals, because I didn't want to cram 12 songs in a couple of days, so we had more flexibility.
It's always nice working with true professionals that could just go in and get a project done real fast.
Right.
What was the inspiration to make that album?
More so for me personally, it was to just have a different sound, provide a different sound that I feel like I could, that I can accomplish, And when Al approached me to do a soul album, I was like, I think I could do that. I said, I'm rocking the natural Afro hair, I can, no. But it was more so to just kind of show a different side. My first album, which is called The Jade Element, was more of like a little bit more like neo soul R&B, more laid back, a little bit more vibey. So this one was cool because it was just like I can open up a little bit more and be a little bit more soulful, a little bit more raw. So I appreciated that Al had approached me to be a part of that, So I think for him it was more also just to tap into something different too, because he's got the different bands, but he doesn't have anything like what we have, So it's been cool. It's been a really cool experience.
And would you say soul music is your specialty?
I would not say that. I would say I grew up mostly listening to and singing lots of jazz. So jazz and R&B. I do love like that. Like I do love that vibey kind of music, neo soul. I think I probably feel more comfortable doing that. But that part of the reason of doing this soul project was to branch out a little bit more outside of my comfort zone.
It's always nice getting to go into different fields and experience different feelings. How did you decide on the title, which, to remind the audience, is Rebecca Jade and the Cold Fact? Where'd you come up with that title?
I keep forgetting. I need to have this on. It's actually the name of of a an album of somebody's, and I keep forgetting the name of who it is, but the band kind of came up with it together. It's kind of like we were like Rebecca Jade we were thinking like Rebecca Jade and the Lions, and like we're kind of playing around with like all these like different names, and then somebody was just like, nope. They were like Rebecca Jade and the Cold Fact. Like we wanted to make sure like my name was in there because in the Jade element, it was more of just a collaborative project, so we didn't have my name. They didn't want to be like specifically like saying me, but in this one they're like, no, we need to have like Rebecca Jade name in it, and then have the have something else. And so
Rebecca Jade and something.
And something,
as long as Rebecca Jade's in there, though.
So I was like, okay, I appreciate that,
It's a cool title, though. It's got that cool hip kind of a
totally
flow to it.
I keep forgetting. I keep asking them, and I'll keep forgetting. One of these days, I'm gonna get it down. But yeah, it's the name of an album of someone's. I'm gonna look it up because I hate that I don't know it.
And if you're just tuning in, I'm, of course, Nylander, sitting down here with local San Diego recording artist Rebecca Jade. We're talking about her new album, Rebecca Jade and the Cold Fact. Do you have a favorite song off that album?
There are quite a few that are really fun. I think the one I currently like to sing, like that I enjoy the most, I would say is like City of Sin, because it's just funky and it's high energy, and it just kind of like makes your head, you just can't, it's just grooving, really, really grooving, really, really hard. I really like it.
And what's the story behind that song? Is there one?
Not necessarily. It's just, I've been living in the city of sin, down low, running through the thick and the thin. It's hard walking down the same boulevard. You see graffiti, but I think it's art. It's just a really cool song. Alfred Howard actually is the main lyricist behind a lot of these songs. So he kind of has these cool concepts. He's very artsy. A lot of things that he comes up with are just phenomenal. So, yeah,
Oh, wow.
I'm just stoked to be a part of that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great project. Sit right
Thank
there.
you.
We're going to have to take a quick commercial break.
All right.
But don't go anywhere. I'll be right back with Rebecca Jade. After the break, we're going to talk about more about her music, where she comes from, and what she's doing next, right here on KKSM 1320.
KKSM,
The Taliban hates us, so we must be doing something right.
the radio revolution.
And we're back on KKSM 1320, your radio revolution. I'm your pal, of course, Nylander. Right now I'm joined live in the studio by local San Diego recording artist, the one, the only, the super amazing, super funky, super soulful Rebecca Jade.
Hello.
Hello again. So we were just talking about your, before the break, your album Rebecca Jade and the Cold Fact, which is your sophomore album. Before that you had your debut album, The Jade Element.
Correct.
Tell us about that project. Getting in the studio, making your first album, that's always a big leap in a professional music career.
It really is. And I felt like it was long overdue. It was long overdue, just with I've been working on projects. My first album we were starting to try to work on, I was 13 years
Wow.
old. And that didn't pan out. And then another one when I was about 15, 16. That was a girl group. We were trying to do a girl group thing. That didn't pan out. I ended up focusing on sports at that time after that. And then I ended up going to college on a full basketball scholarship. And so that kind of, doing the whole music. I was still doing music, but like sports was more my focus. And then after college, during college I was in an injury. So that kind of set some stuff up, that's okay. It's, it's kind of led me to where I am, which is, I'm super grateful and blessed, grateful for. So then after college, I came home, I started working on another project. Like that didn't happen. It was like, it's just been this whole, like it's not for lack of trying, and so finally, and they've all been like for one reason or another, The one when I came home from college, like we had about 9 songs done. Like we were like almost done, and then the producer I was working with, his mom passed away, and that like just stopped everything because his dad and his mom ran this huge church here in San Diego. So that like just stopped that. And so around that time I started working on working in cover bands, and I was just kind of like just getting into the music scene really here in San Diego. And then so that kind of became my focus, and I just started working, and next thing I knew, after a couple of years I was doing music full time. And and so that just became my focus. And then in the meantime, I see like time has passed, 3, 4, 5 years have passed. I still don't have an album, And so finally I had been approached by, he was a local producer. He's moved away since then, but a local producer named Anthony Molinaro. And he was the one that kind of approached me. It was just like, I want to do this kind of the same way as with Al Howard. But he approached me and was like, I want to do like a neo soul, because he loved like Portishead. He loved like that kind of style. He liked that really dark and like just like this undertone of music that's like kind of vibey,
cool
ethereal, really cool, like really mellow though, And so I was like, cool, I'm down. Like for my motivation was like, I was just glad to have a project, But on top of that, I like loved the music, So we were just working on this project, and next thing I know, like finally, and it was 2011, I finally got my first album, And so I was really, really grateful to Anthony for that, because he helped me, get something. I have product now, And so I'm really, really grateful for that.
So it's definitely worth the wait all those years for that right time, meeting the right person.
Absolutely.
To do it right. Now let's go back in time a bit so we can understand where you come from. Where were you born?
I was born in New York City, actually.
Oh wow! What led you out to come out here to beautiful San Diego?
Well, my family's from the East Coast. My mom's from New York as well, and my dad. When I was 2.5 or 3, my dad had lots of jobs. So he was the kind of person that was very like, let's go here, let's go there. And so he had found a job opportunity in Puerto Rico. So when I was 3, we moved to Puerto Rico. We lived there for a few years. My parents got divorced in Puerto Rico when I was about 6 or 7, I think. And my dad at some point was in the Coast Guard. So from after Puerto Rico, when I was about 7 or so, we moved to Northern California, because my dad got transferred there from the Coast Guard. So we moved to Northern California with my dad, and my dad had remarried. So my dad and my stepmom and her son from a previous marriage. And the 4 of us moved to California, Northern California. And my mom stayed in Puerto Rico. She was actually a professional singer herself in Puerto Rico.
So you come from a musical family.
I do. And so so then I moved with my dad, and then we lived in Northern California for a year, and then moved, I think he got transferred to San Diego. So we moved to San Diego around when I was about 8 years old. And we moved to Southern California. I've been here ever since.
Wow. And how is this place, which is San Diego, is so beautiful, how has it affected you as a music artist?
I would say it's kind of a late bloomer. I feel like, I've been always involved in music, or like I've always been exposed to music, but I never really tapped into it here until I was much older, not until after college, like a lot of people, I talked to a lot of musicians, they were in band and stuff, and I was in choir growing up, but I was also very much into sports, so I didn't really tap into music other than what I've been exposed to from my mom, which was a lot. I mean, so I learned a lot from her just growing up, being around it. But I wouldn't, it wouldn't be till I was older that I really appreciated it. And it's funny because it's a large community, and yet it's not. As I've come to experience.
It's almost everybody knows each other, and somebody can always help you out, network.
Definitely.
Definitely. What point did you start singing though? At the youngest?
I believe my mom would say I was about 5.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I was about 5 years old.
And what inspired you to sing?
Probably my mom. She was a singer. My uncle, her brother, was a singer. My grandfather was a singer. They were singing in a little family trio when my mom was 12 and 10 years old, and she was really young. So I'd been exposed to that my whole life, and so I think also it was just genetically, I'd just been singing, It's hard. I don't remember not singing, if that makes any sense. Like it's always just been.
I can completely understand. It's just something when you're born, it's just there.
Yeah, I don't think I ever really noticed. I mean, I think maybe I was like 10 or something, and I was like, okay, I want to be a professional singer. I think but a lot of little girls have that dream too. I just probably thought that, and it's just always been a part of my life. I don't know.
So
Yeah.
so what professional music artists when you were young that you listened to really influenced you and made you want to pursue music?
I listened to pretty wide variety. We, partly growing up in Puerto Rico, I had a lot of Latin influence. My mom's also a strong Christian, so we listen to a lot of Christian music. We listen to lots of Latin music. We listen to a lot like everything from Patti LaBelle and Stevie Wonder to classical. One of my favorite movies is Amadeus, and so like I love that whole Mozart's Requiem and all the way to even Christmas albums by oh man, what's her name? Huge star. She's oh my gosh, I'm just drawing a blank on her name right now. Bette Midler. Like no, not Bette Midler. Not Bette Midler. Barbara Streisand. That's
Barbara Streisand.
She had a wonderful Christmas album that we used to listen to. It was just like it was our ritual, We would have like every year we listened to hers and Patti LaBelle's and so we had a wide. She exposed me, and then lots of jazz. I think probably my strongest memory is listening to a lot of Billie Holiday because I really loved the sorrow in her voice. There was just something just appealing about it, and I just drew to that. I think probably when I was a teenager or so.
I can understand that all those artists you named are so amazing. If you could pick one artist who's alive today that you would dream of collaborating with most, who would that be?
Today, who did have a strong influence on me once I got a little bit older in high school that kind of drew me to the neo soul realm was probably Erykah Badu. I really listened to her a lot. Her Baduism album I probably wore that out. I really enjoyed her music, so I would probably say her if off the top of my head. But I would also probably like a Shaka Khan.
Oh, she's amazing.
Because her voice is just so powerful, and my favorite, who's one of my favorite artists is probably Prince.
How could he not be? I mean, everyone loves Prince.
Everybody loves Prince. I love Prince.
He could do no wrong.
No, he's amazing. So, I know you said pick one, but that's
how can he pick one? I knew you'd list some off. If you're just tuning in here to KKSM 1320, I'm of course Nylander, sitting down here with local San Diego recording artist Rebecca Jade, talking about her music, where she grew up, her taste in music, and we're going to find out what she's doing next. She's such an amazing artist. Now, Rebecca, many people describe you as having a chameleon-like quality to your voice, which pretty much meaning you can deliver each song in a very unique way. How do you go about making each song unique to you?
A lot of it will probably just based on how I'm feeling that day. It could be related. It could be something as simple as that. The other thing is one of the quotes that I've always kind of kept in my mind is every time I sing is to not sing a song the same way, and that's a quote by Billie Holiday. She says, don't sing the song the same way every time, because you're just copying, and so I've always tried to, as soon as I kind of internalize that, I go, I don't want to just be kind of copying, even though I'm singing a lot of times I'm singing covers, but I want them to be, they're going to be unique to me because I'm singing them. So like everybody who sings their song sings a song is going to be different because it's going to be their own. But I also try to make sure that I sing it differently each time. I might. It's just going to be different. I think based on how I'm feeling that day. Based on it's just never going to be the same. And I try to make sure that it's not, that it's not the same.
It gives the audience something to look forward to. They don't really exactly know what to expect. It gives them a little something different that they enjoy. It makes each show a little unique. Mm-hmm. And you have performed with some of the most sought after musicians in San Diego and Los Angeles. Could you name off some of those for our listeners?
We have a lot of talented people here in San Diego. One of the ones I've known for a long time is a dear friend of mine. Is Kevin Flournoy. He's an amazing piano player. He's currently actually the keyboard player for Shaka Khan. He just recently started being her keyboard player when she goes on certain tours and such. So that's been really cool. My mentor, who's just amazing, and he really took me under his wing, is Kamau Kenyatta, and he actually just won the Grammy for the Gregory Porter album. He was an arranger and co-producer for the Gregory Porter album. And I'm just very honored to call them my friends. Like, they're just amazing, you know. And then, you know, we have a bunch of people that I've been actually very fortunate through Kamau and Kevin to have met a lot of folks up in LA. I'm working on a project with Kevin Flournoy right now. We're kind of working on some things, and through him I've gotten to meet Kevin Dorsey, who was like Michael Jackson's musical director for a number of years. Chuck Morris, who was the drummer for Arsenio Hall show. You know, I've just a lot of these guys are like musical directors, you know, that I've met and worked with, that are musical directors for people like Anita Baker and like of that ilk, you know. And so I've been just very, very fortunate, and everybody's just been wonderful on top of that, you know.
I mean, there's so many, just like you, so many amazing musicians around here in San Diego and definitely up in LA too.
Yeah.
And one of the most popular music venues in San Diego was Anthology, which sadly closed its doors last year, which is a sad loss for this community. But you were actually a member of their house band for that world-renowned venue.
From day one, I was very, very fortunate. And there's, you know, I learned a really cool lesson in a positive way. You know, sometimes you learn a lesson in a bad way. I learned a lesson in a very positive way through being part of that. It was actually through Kamau. Kamau told me, he was like, you know, hey, there's this new club that's opening up. I think they have a singer, but come with me to these rehearsals because they might be looking for like a backup person, you know. There's, you know. So I was like, okay, sure. So I started coming to all the rehearsals. It was before the club was even opened. We went and did even like a soft open, like when we went and like did a show, quote unquote show, for the owners of the club. They were still doing construction. Like the club wasn't even opened yet. Like it was not even ready to go. Like we were rehearsing like 6 months before the club even opened. So so we're rehearsing and stuff, and I'm showing up to every rehearsal. And the singer that was supposed to be the singer, she never made one rehearsal because she came down from Orange County or something like that, or she was going to be, you know. So she never made any rehearsals. So the band leader, which I'm really grateful for, he was like. He's like, as far as I'm concerned, you're the singer for the house band. So, and that's how I got the job. I was just there, you know, and I was at every rehearsal.
Sometimes things are just meant to be. Right place, right time, right situation.
Yeah. So I was there, and I felt very fortunate. And I was the singer in the house band for 5.5 years, from the day it opened, before it opened till the day it closed. So and that experience was like. It meant a lot to me, and that became like really my second home. I was there a lot, you know. And,
yeah, I can imagine.
And the owners, and I knew all the servers and like everybody there, and you know, it was just an amazing club. And I'm really hoping that somebody can either reopen it or bring something that's just like that back to San Diego, because we really, really need it. If I had the money, I would do it. You know?
Me too. I mean, it's such a sad lot. You know,
it really was.
There's nothing better than live music, especially at places great as Anthology was. Being a musician around here, though, do you know any other good venues that people should check out that are kind of, you know, not a replacement, but somewhere else they can go to?
You know, another place that I really, really like is a place called 98 Bottles. It's really great. It's like a mini version of Anthology. It's like tiny. It doesn't hold a lot of people, but it's very intimate. It's you know, it's all about the art. It's about the artist, you know. It's very intimate. People are listening and watching, and I would say that's probably the next, you know, that and Dizzy's too. Dizzy's is cool too. I haven't played there in a while, but but 98 Bottles and Dizzy's, places like that are really cool. I really like 98 Bottles.
I've heard of it. It's really taken off lately.
They've been doing really well. They've been doing lots of different shows. I recently did a show there. It was cool. Like they like themed shows there. So I did a show, Ladies of Soul. You know, and that's when I did a couple Shaka Khan songs. I did a couple Aretha Franklin songs, and I got to just do this show, and I had never done it before, and I had organized this show, and it was so much fun, and there was, you know, like everybody was digging it, and it was like kind of a fun concept, you know, and so, yeah, we need more places like that here in San Diego.
Definitely, and 98 Bottles is definitely a place to check out. If you're just
Absolutely.
tuning in here to KKSM 1320, I'm, of course, Nylander, sitting down live in the studio with amazing local San Diego recording artist Rebecca Jade. Rebecca, you're also a member of the band Siren's Crush. Tell us
Yeah.
about that group and what you ladies are up to.
It's such a fun band. Oh my goodness, it's so much fun. So I've been a part of this band. I've been with part of the group, and I'll explain that a little bit more in detail, for about almost 8 years. I've been with these girls. So before it became Siren's Crush, it was called Crush. And I joined the band because it was a three-girl fronted band, and it's a top 40 cover band. It was Crush before that, and I joined the band because the one girl ended up moving to Los Angeles, so I became a member of this band. And then, at the time was another singer named Angie. She was in the band, and another girl. And then the other girl ended up leaving, and so we were looking for a third girl. And so we put out an ad on Craigslist for a singer. So around that time, a singer named Carissa happened to move here from St. Louis by way of Florida. And so she was here, and this ended up, we auditioned her, and ended up she became a member of the band. So it was a 7-piece band. Well, initially, Angie and the keyboard player are married, and so we ended up having some what's it called, just difference of opinion with some other members of the band. It was totally ended up being cool, but we ended up breaking off. So the 3 girls and the keyboard player ended up breaking off, and we started Siren's Crush. And then, because at the same time we were working on a girl group with Kevin Flournoy, so we ended up keeping the name Crush with Kevin Flournoy, and then the 3 girls, we were still doing Siren's Crush. So we loved the name Crush, and we wanted to kind of keep it similar, but like Siren's Crush was the cover band, and Crush was the original project. So that's kind of like our thinking, you know. So then, but we were members of Crush, I want to say, for 2.5, 3 years. And then when we broke off and did Siren's Crush, now that's been almost 4.5, almost 5 years. So I've been working with these girls, same 2 girls, the same 3 girls have been together for almost 8 years, and it's just amazing. I love those girls, and I love the band to pieces, and we just have so much fun. And I've grown so much as an artist, as a stage performer, being in that band. You know,
There's nothing better than making good music with friends.
yeah, absolutely. It's 3-part harmony, and we do choreography, and what's fun about that band is that we do mostly kind of top 40 modern music. So it's like the stuff you would hear on the radio today. You know what I mean? And on like the pop radios. You know what I mean? Not if we do some old school, but it's more like 70-30 old school. I'm sorry, modern to old school. So we do mostly like Lady Gaga, Kesha, like the fun, stuff.
So it captures the attention of, say, young people, but gives them that, good old school kind of feel to it, to kind of gives them the best of both worlds.
I would say that we capture the young audience, but we also capture the wide range of audience because it's a live band and it's hitting. Like, it's a really, really good, tight band, So you're getting the radio aspect live. I think might be the best way to
definitely
say it.
show people
So
out there
much
should
fun.
check out. You're so busy too. You're also you also had your own R&B band called the Soul Tones. Tell us about that group. You're all over the place.
Yeah, well, I've been trying to. I was kind of inspired actually to do that through the Anthology House Band. We every 3 or 4 months we would do a Motown show, Motown Soul Review. And a lot of the members of the band were like, man, I kind of wish we would do this more often. Sometimes it would be every 4 months, but then it'd be every 6 months, maybe once a year. And these guys are, writing out these charts, and we have all this material. And so I was like, I'm hearing these guys, kind of like, oh, man, it'd be really cool if we did this outside of Anthology, So we had an offer for a gig outside of Anthology, and I ended up taking it over. So I ended up running the band and organizing it all, and I kind of was like a good challenge for myself. And I said, you know what? This could be something. So I started this band called the Soul Tones, and it's an 8-piece band. It's all like top 40 like soul, R&B, funk cover band, and it's made up of some of the great greatest musicians, in my opinion. I mean, we have a bunch of musicians, but great ones that I'm fortunate to work with that are here in San Diego. It's an 8-piece band, 4-piece rhythm section, 2 lead singers, male and female, and 2 horns. And it's just a killer band. Wow. So much fun.
Do you ever find it hard to make the time for Sirens Crush, this band, and your own stuff? Is it hard, or how's that work out for you?
Yeah, it can be challenging. More so, just I think the hardest part for me, is trying to balance, because I do the cover band stuff to pay the bills, But I'm actually currently branching. My mindset is more so now towards original music. I want to branch and do original music. I want to get outside. I want to nourish San Diego. How am I trying to say this? I want to always represent San Diego. This is my home base. I get a lot of support here, and I'm so grateful for everybody here that has been supportive of me and all my ventures,
I mean, I promoted this on Facebook, and I heard nothing but just people saying how much they love you and your music, and for what you bring to San Diego.
Yeah. Oh, that's so awesome to hear that, because I'm super grateful. And we have such a wonderful community of supportive people here, and I'm ready to branch out and kind of get out and get more nationwide and even international. I mean, I'm ready for big picture things, and then always bring it back home, So I've been very fortunate in the success I've had here, and I'm ready to make it bigger, so I can help make even a better name for San Diego, because San Diego's amazing. So,
it definitely is.
People already know that, but
you're amazing too, and you do San Diego such justice, and I have full faith that you're going to be able to reach those goals.
Thank you.
If you're just tuning in here to KKSM 1320, your radio revolution, I'm, of course, Nylander, sitting down live with Rebecca Jade, talking about her new music, what her future plans are, where she comes from. She's such an amazing artist, represents San Diego very well. Now, Rebecca, do you write your own music?
I do write. I've been, that's been one thing that I've been recently working on, breaking out of that uncomfortable zone. I never considered myself a writer. I had always wanted to, but and any writer would tell you that that's probably the hardest part, is breaking out and being okay with what you write. Because you're going to self-analyze it. I think that's where I was kind of at that stage of self-analyzing, and I just, that's terrible. And, I'm like self-doubt, but I know most writers would say that they probably dealt with that until they finally were just like, I don't care. This is my voice. This is what I have to say. So I'm just now getting to that point where I'm getting more comfortable with what I write. And I've been very fortunate, because there's a local producer that I've worked with, named Jazz Williams, and he's more in that hip hop realm, but he has been very instrumental in me just being more comfortable. I started writing some of my own stuff when I was working with Anthony Molinaro for the Jade Element project. We were starting to work on some stuff, and I'd always been writing little things, ideas, and then I just never, I wouldn't finish them because I was just, didn't think they were good or whatever, And so, but I finally wrote my first song, I think fully, a few years back, and I was very proud of that. And then getting nourished by this producer, Jazz Williams. He's been amazing, because he's just like, you can do this. He had been nothing but encouraging. He's like, you need to write. He's like, come with me, we'll write it together. And he's just taken me under, his wing, and he's an amazing arranger, producer here in San Diego. And so what we've been doing is we'll take a couple songs. He's helped me. There was one, the one that I wrote a few years back, and he helped to make it it's called Maybe. And he's made it really, really cool. He's added some really awesome harmonies that he thinks of some really cool arrangements. And then he added a bridge to it that wasn't there initially. So, and what's amazing about working with him is the stuff that we've been doing. He's like, I want let's just give it away, like let's just have people who, if they love the music, they can download it for free. And so we have 4 tracks up on my Reverb Nation page and SoundCloud page that you can just download for free. And we want people to have it if they love the music,
Wow, that's very kind of you.
Yeah, so it's been, thank you. And I'm like, and I'm totally digging that, because I'm like, yeah, if you're down to do that, I'm down to do that. We want to just get the music out, let people hear it, and hope they like it. So we have 4 songs. With him, it's cool because we have the one song that I wrote called Maybe, and then he did one, the concept is called Hypnotized, but we co-wrote that one. And then there's one called On the Floor that we co-wrote that one as well. And then another one called I'm drawing a blank on it right now, Galaxy. And then that was the most recent one that we've done. And then we co-wrote all 4 of those songs together. And yeah, so it's been really cool. So that one's got a little bit, those 4 songs have a little bit more of that, like, you'll hear the little drive behind it because it's a little bit more of that hip hop essence to it, but still would be considered, I think, like R&B,
And they're great songs. I mean, I listened to all the ones that you mentioned, and you guys sound so good together.
Thank you.
Well, we're going to have to take another quick break right here, but stay tuned on KKSM, because coming up after the break, I'll still be talking to Rebecca Jade, and we're going to find out what she's doing next with her career. She's an amazing artist. You're not going to want to miss this interview right here on KKSM.
Don't touch that dial. You're listening to KKSM.
PalomarCollegeRadio.com.
Like a time-traveling space panther.
And we're back on KKSM 1320 Radio Revolution. I'm, of course, Nylander, taking you up till 3 o'clock. Right now I'm joined live in the studio with local San Diego recording artist. She's such an amazing person and musician, Rebecca Jade. How are you doing again, Rebecca?
Fantastic.
Now, not only are you an amazing musician, but you're also an actress and a model. Oh, tell us about what kind of jobs you got in those fields.
I've been very fortunate. I actually got my undergrad degree in theater and performance studies. So I've always been in the arts in one fashion or another. Growing up, I was in theater and choir and all sorts of things. So currently, I more so am building, I try to build my photo catalog. So I've been just doing that, and every once in a while I'll be involved in some sort of an event if it works out with I have a wonderful friend here in San Diego who is just killing it in the modeling world. Her name is Latricia Price, and so she's she started out just doing some modeling, and next thing you know she's doing she's like a model coordinator, and now she does a celebrity host up in LA for lots of events, and
wow.
and this is a mother of 7 who's 40 years old, and you wouldn't even know it. I mean, she's just killing it. So, it's been really, really cool. So she's been really instrumental in me getting involved more so in some of the modeling and such around town. And her business partner Ron Morales have actually started a magazine called Real Legit Magazine, and he's an amazing photographer. And so some of the most recent pictures I've posted have been from a photo shoot that I've done with him, which and he's just been great because he's just phenomenal. He's got a great eye, and we get some really cool pictures out of it. So that's the kind of stuff I've been doing just to kind of just keep my face out there and showing the modeling side of things, And then as far as acting, I do I've done a couple commercials around town and some industrial work, and I'm just trying to do more. I've done some extra work. But it's sometimes it's hard just balancing that with the singing and stuff. But I really enjoy it. I want to do more of that kind of thing for sure.
So, but you would say music is your main passion.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
Modeling and acting are kind of to the side a bit.
What it is, I think for me is just to be involved in the arts, but still almost have gives me a break, so to speak. I'm not always. It's not 100% music, which it is, but at the same time, you got to let your brain
get to branch out to different horizons.
Yeah, so I'm still, it's still to me very art. It is artsy, it's art related, and so I can still tap into that. But I'm it's just another branch of that, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, you're very versatile, not only in your singing, but with the career paths you've taken.
Thank you.
Are you in the process of recording a new album?
I Yes. I would say yes. It's kind of in the very, very beginning stages. And it's kind of a couple projects. I was initially going to be doing a project with an old producer friend of mine up in LA, but that's probably not going to work out, unfortunately. But the stuff that I'm working on with Jazz, we're working on singles, a bunch of singles. The four that I mentioned earlier, as well as we're going to work on a new one. We have a new song we're going to work on, and we're going to just keep plugging away until we have a whole album's worth, and then that'll be so this is kind of like in the works is an album, but we're just taking it single by single, and like no pressure, and it's just been a really cool experience.
You just want to do it right.
Yeah, not rushing, and I'm having the creative say in it too, which is a lot of fun. Like just the two of us are just kind of like brainstorming and getting it done, which is really, really cool.
It's always nice when you can have creative control over your project.
Yeah. And then I've been wanting to do. I don't have. Jazz is really my background. Jazz is like my. I would say is like, so I guess my background, and so I've been really wanting to do an album, like a jazz album, and so my goal, my short-term goal is to do a project with Kamau Kenyatta, and because he's, first of all, is amazing, and he's been my mentor since I came for a number of years, and it's just kind of like one of those like full circle things. It's like I would love to have an album done with him. And so we're kind of currently, I'm working on trying to raise some funds and stuff. And that way we can kind of get something going, So,
Definitely.
And on top of that, I mean, like it doesn't hurt that he just earned a Grammy from Gregory Porter album, so I'm really, really excited about that possibility. So we've been talking about it, but now it's like a matter of I'm done talking, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to keep like, coming at him like I really want to work on an album. It's like I want to come with him and go like, look, here's some money, like let's make this really happen,
Wow.
So that's my short-term goal, is to have a project done with him.
And I don't think everyone out there really realizes how long and hard it is to make an album.
Oh my goodness. You are so correct.
I mean, the time and the money.
The time and the money is like, it's insane. Like it really, especially if you want it done right, I mean, nowadays you can get things done because there's so many home studios and such like that. So, but to get a really high quality, work at a studio that's decent quality, at least decent quality studio, so we're looking at a good project, and it's really, in the scheme of things, not that much money, but it is a lot of money. It's about 15,000. You can get a really, really good album done, with all the artwork, with quality top musicians, backup singers, everything, the studio time, the mixing, mastering, production, duplicating the actual album, all that stuff takes money. All of it takes money, and you don't want to cut corners if at all possible.
And if you're just tuning in, you're listening to KKSM Oceanside, Palmer College Radio.com. I'm, of course, Nylander, sitting here live in the studio with local San Diego recording artist Rebecca Jade. Now, Rebecca, if our listeners want to go buy your music, where can they go?
We have a couple sites up. You can definitely go on iTunes. Both albums are on iTunes. The first one, my debut album, is under The Jade Element. The second album is Rebecca Jade and the Cold Fact. You can type those both into iTunes. I believe also the second album is also on Spotify. And we have our Bandcamp site up right now, which is just Rebecca Jade and the Cold Fact.bandcamp.com. So that's that. Yeah.
And where can we follow you on social media?
Oh yeah, so I like that. All my social media is under one name, which I'm really glad about. So I'm on Twitter and on Instagram and mostly on Facebook. That's the one I'm on most often. But all the tag or whatever it's called is mine is Lady Rebecca Jade. So all of them: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, also Reverb Nation, and SoundCloud is all under Lady Rebecca Jade. So you can check out the music on there, and I'm always posting and letting people know what I have going on.
Well, you definitely want to check Rebecca Jade out. She's such an amazing artist. Make sure to go get her album, Rebecca Jade and the Cold Fact. And
Yes.
while you're at it, go get her debut album, The Jade Element.
Yeah.
Because Jade definitely does have a very unique element with her, amazing voice. Thanks so much for coming on the show today, Rebecca. Before you go, is there anything else you'd like our listeners to know?
Just if you can just continue to support these local artists, it really means a lot when people engage with us, and we like to engage with folks. Like, be open. Let us know if there's anything you like to hear, if there's anything that that you want from us. I feel like as artists, we are here to serve, and we're here to serve our purpose, which is to express our music. But we want to hear from you too. So please keep in touch. Like, send out messages and let us know like that you're liking stuff. And if you don't like stuff, that's okay too. We're open. I like to be able to communicate with people. So feel free to reach out and let us know. And thank you. Just thank you for the support. And I love San Diego is just amazing. Thank you for all the continued support. I really appreciate it.
Well, it's definitely a beautiful place. Thanks again, Rebecca. Right now, we're going to play your song, Maybe.
Oh,
right
awesome.
here on The Vibe, soft hits from the 80s, 90s, and today with me, your pal, Chorus Nylander.
Thank you, Chorus.